Hi, I'm Lisa K. Donner, along with Andrew Moran, Sarah Cowgill, Jeff Charles, and Scott Cosenza. And this is the Conservative 5, Liberty Nation's online TV news program. It was a team effort comprised of organizations that might not normally register as friends or colleagues, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA, together with the Humane Society of the U.S., brought evidence of a sickening case of animal neglect and cruelty to the Department of Justice. The DOJ, which has been taking a lot of heat lately, done good with this one and put the punitive hammer down on Envigo, a medical research company in Cumberland, Virginia, for breeding animals as guinea pigs to use for their medical testing and biomed products. Well, I got to tell you, Sarah, this one literally made me nauseous when I saw what was going on with these beagles. You covered this story for LN this week. Tell us a little bit about the background.
Well, it's not unprecedented, nor is it unusual for companies or universities to breed animals for research purposes. The problem is with Envigo, they were violating the Animal Welfare Act that was put into place in 1966. So, and there's been a few revisions here and there over the years, but they were egregiously violating AWA. And they got busted for it, and they should have been busted for it. They found, I think a little over 4,000 beagles in horrific conditions. They were on cold slabs, puppies on cold slabs, nursing moms that had not been fed for days, feces and food. They were in cages that they couldn't stand up and turn around in. There's a litany of horrifying things that went on at this facility. And I don't know what the whistleblower was or who the whistleblower was, but I'm going to give PETA credit for jumping in on this one and just running it to the ground and taking enough evidence and disturbing evidence to the Department of Justice. And credit to the Department of Justice. They said, yeah, this isn't going to happen. So, well, it was kind of a warm and fuzzy feeling. Now there's 4,000 beagles and Envigo beagles all over the United States finding new life. They'd never touched grass. They'd never had a human hand. They never had a name. It was, it's just something that, it should happen more often because a lot of these cases go unnoticed.
I must admit, I'm a big dog lover, and Scott, I know you are too, but when I see practices like this, sheer abuse, where, ears cut off and tails rotted and all manner of stuff. This is just not right.
I'm wondering where the Virginia authorities were in this. It's a violation of state law, I think, to abuse animals in this fashion. They've got their jackboot on my neck to pay them these confiscatory tax rates to fund these police officers and their defined benefit pensions, so that after they work for 16 years, they can go live on a beach in Boca. Why I have to still pay for them, and yet they're doing nothing for the.
And don't forget, you now can pay for their
regulate the
school loans. You can pay for their school loans.
I'm going to be in the position of lauding PETA. I don't like any of this. It's all bad news. They say that Hitler was nice to his dog Blondie, famously, but he was still Hitler. And PETA, while I'm happy that they engaged in this action that prevented this further abuse from dogs, while not quite Hitler, are a detestable group, and I refuse to celebrate them in any fashion. And I love dogs as much as you well know anybody else.
Jeff, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who loves dogs and dogs love me, I mean, I had 2 dogs when I was a kid and I love them. I mean, I'm telling you, dogs love me. If I remember around your dog, they will fall in love with me. It just happens.
Everyone falls in love with Jeff.
Well, why is that? Why is that?
I really don't know. They just like me. They do.
He smells good.
Yeah, maybe it's the smell. I don't know.
Yeah.
But as far as this whole thing coming to light, from what I read, there was a situation where a guy, I don't know how he found out that this stuff was going on, but he flew a drone over the facility and took footage of it. Then I read that somebody hired a private investigator to go get a job there, pretending to be an employee, but really they were trying to figure out what was going on at this facility, and they found out that they were not giving these canines the appropriate level of care. And I will say that this is a broken clock moment for the Department of Justice, which took a break from pretending that white supremacy is a dire threat to national security to actually deal with this issue, and also PETA and the other organizations as well. I may not agree with them on other stuff, but I'll give them this one: broken clocks, right, twice a day.
Andrew, now you're a cat guy, I think.
Yeah. I have a cat. God bless you, Max. My cat passed away, so my heart fell to him. Okay, so here's my question, though. Okay, I completely condemn this. I don't want any animal research. I can't stand these practices. Here's my question. Why is there such condemnation for research on dogs, but not so much for the consumption of animals? We don't want little Fido to get tortured.
Here we go with the vegan thing.
We don't want little Fido to get tortured by these cruel beings. But what about the pigs who are mutilated so people can have their bacon? What about calves who are separated from their moms for dairy production?
They're not mutilated while the pigs are alive,
What about all the torture that these animals go through and the lives are lost and they're confined to these horrific conditions just so we can satisfy our plates? So someone explain the difference to me on that one.
Well, I agree.
Andrew, I honestly, Andrew, I'm kind of with you on that. I am not a vegan whatsoever. I wish I had the discipline to do it, but I'm not. And there's just a distinct difference to hunt for food. And there are regulations in place that are obviously overlooked just check out the PETA site. I'm sure you have checked out the PETA site. You're probably a card carrying member of PETA. And I'm good with that, because I think I did a lot of research into what they do and what they're talking about. And they say, hey, we don't like the fact that you guys eat animals if you eat animals, but here's what regulations need to be put into place so that those animals, before they are on the table, have a quality of life. And that's not happening. It's the not quality of life before they are on your dinner plate. And that's my biggest problem.
Let me say that Andrew is a vegan, and we very much care for him anyway and accept him. But that's a reality that we all deal with, and that there is zero tension between consuming the flesh of animals and treating animals humanely. Literally zero. Those two things can be accomplished with 100%, fidelity to both things. It just costs a little bit more and creates a little bit more effort on behalf of the producer and the consumer. So
you're absolutely right, Scott. But the problem is everybody wants to take the shortcut. They don't care. They want the bottom line. And so that's why I'm bully for PETA right now. I know.
Well, not everybody. I have the free range eggs right there in the fridge, a couple paces away from me. So
there's a whole movement. Yeah. There's a whole movement against this stuff. So, I agree. I am the furthest thing from a vegan, but it is wrong how a lot of these animals are treated. But there are a lot of restaurants who make sure that they source their meats, like Chipotle. They source their meats from more humane people who breed them. And I think that movement has been growing. But I do agree that is a problem. We should not be treating animals this way.
But the problem with, let's use Scott's example as free range. That whole thing is a scam in itself. When you talk about free range eggs, what all they do, these farmers or agricultural industry, is that they have a little door across on a barn, and then they walk outside, and then that's how they classify free range. So you can have all these regulations you want, all these marketing gimmicks you want. No matter what, you are taking innocent lives, and in a lot of cases, destroying these animals and crushing their spirits. And then it's funny too, if you want to talk about the science, and the science loves doing animal research, and they'll defend it, and they'll spend billions of dollars of taxpayer money on this issue. But if you look at the science, you see that a lot of the animals who are tortured, that goes into the meat. You're consuming that misery that they had to go through in their final hours. I think there was a study comparing the milk of animals who are on these humane farms compared to the milk source on these tortures, and there's such a huge contrast in terms of nutrition and the taste itself. itself. So
this is a
overall-
perfect opportunity for the marketplace to enter and say, we have a better egg that doesn't have the torture hormones in it. And you're right about the free range thing. They're actually pasture raised. So basically you go to the egg aisle and you just buy the most expensive eggs you can get or near them. And that's how you
go down the
those are
road
the
a
right
quarter of a
ones.
mile and they have chickens and they have eggs for sale.
Well, that too.
And
yeah.
so you know where you're getting your product.
Andrew, you managed to torque this entire conversation over toward the whole vegan battle when this is supposed to be a feel-good segment about some nice puppies getting freed from torture and jail. But anyway, it seems that the light has been shined on this horrifying practice in a very big way. And now, as you all say, the world is watching. What's next? That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform, YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble. We're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation has its own Roku channel where you can see all of our TV productions. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, surf on over to libertynation.com. Special thanks to our fantastic editor and post coordinator, Frank Diorio, and our executive producer, Sarah Cowgill. I'm Lisa K. Donner, editor-in-chief. Thanks for joining us today. This has been a production of libertynation.com, where truth is making a comeback.